Yo! That fight was off the chain, man! I know, right? Who would have thought that a 2-decade-year-old fight would be able to follow up your all-time favorite matchup? I know. Wait, hey! What? I'm just saying what we're all thinking. Oh, shut up, Kuma. Hello everyone, this is Saber King. I am back again for yet another Death Battle review, and unlike the last one I recorded on Sunday, I'm going to try and not make this one sound awkward. That's impossible. I know, but I thought I'd just give him a heads up. So finally, it's here. The 20-year debate we've all been waiting for to finally come to an end. It's never gonna end. I know, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Danny Phantom versus the American Dragon, Jake Long. Now, before I say anything, yes, just like everyone else, I loved both of these shows as a kid. Danny Phantom was a show that I really wished I would have watched till the end, because, man, Butch Hartman made a fantastic show that I would take way more over Fairly Odd Parents. Exactly, over Fairly Odd Parents. And I didn't realize how bad and outdated American Dragon would be. Go watch that video if you haven't. He totally loses his mind. Anyway, so, now that it's finally here, let's go ahead and break it all down. Transition, Sean. Voice acting, we're gonna get the juicy stuff out of the way first. So, before I even get to it, there is something we have to address. Nick finally got his first win! Oh, thank you, Death Battle gods! Thank you! Oh, and we even got a supernatural tease! You think that means he's gonna play the Winchester brothers? I hope so, Kuma. I really do. Anyway, Nick, he killed it. Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else to say other than that. How does he continue to do it? How does this man continue to be the highlight of every episode he's in? Even if it's the ones he's losing, he still manages to leave behind a big impact. But now, finally, he has a W under his belt, and it makes me happy just seeing how well everyone loved his portrayal of Danny Phantom. He had everything. He nailed the mannerisms. He nailed that character, which is no surprise to me, because it was a year ago to this day that he got to portray Ben 10 and his alien, so of course. Plus, I would have been extremely pissed off if they didn't cast him as Danny Phantom. It's true, he really would have gone to Rooster Teeth with a steak knife. Wait, what? That's not what I said. I said I would have gone to them with a shovel. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Anyway, regardless, he was just fantastic. I have nothing else to say other than I think Butch Hartman himself would agree, and all of us would agree, Nick was the absolute best in this episode. Word. We have, and now let's move on to Damn Daya, who portrayed Jake Long. I have to say, she was amazing as Jake Long. I couldn't even tell where her performance ended and where Dante Bosco's began, because they were just so similar. It was almost uncanny. This was probably the closest we were ever going to get to having Dante come back to reprise his role. She had, of course, the spunk, she had the naivety, and the slaying. And the slaying. Well, let me just get that out of the way. No, I think the slaying in this episode wasn't as bad as it was in the show, because if you remember, this was nothing compared to how they wrote the slaying in season 1. Never again. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got to say on Dam's performance. I loved her. She did a great job representing, and I think if American Dragon ever comes back and they decide not to cast Dante Bosco, then give her a look up. She could be a great substitution for Dante. Now, let's move on, of course, to... oh boy. Oh man. This animation... once again, it is back to being a skeleton puppet-style animation that we saw in Static vs. Miles, and yes, in Gray vs. Azdeath. But here, Lewis and his team took it to the next level by having the sprite puppets be almost 2D animated. And I mean that as in, you could look at these models and you could just swear they're just hand-drawn sprite puppets, because there's nothing that indicates that these even look like sprites. Yes, there are official sprite sheets for the characters, but these are not the ones they use. These were created from scratch, and they looked perfect. Yeah, in the first couple of seconds, it is a bit slow and sluggish, but once the fight kicked in, oh man, this felt like a legitimate crossover come to life. Nothing was out of character, nothing was out of place, except the Red vs. Blue Zero advertisement, but even then, I'm not complaining. I love me some Red vs. Blue. Hell, this took it a step further by just having the characters and their powers be on full display here. We got to see his intangibility, his scream, his cryokinesis, his flight, his clones, his ectoplasm powers. It was all on full display. And the same thing goes for Jake. We got to see, of course, his awesome Dragon Up form. We got to see the eye of the dragon. We got to see the clones, the fire. Just, oh my god. There are so many details in this fight that make it feel like it's not even a death battle. It really is a lost episode that we never got to saw almost 20 years ago. But we finally got it now. Lewis and his team, they just kill it. I feel like every time I say that, I'm running out of great things and ways to praise my best friend. He really did a great job, and I must commend him and his team for leaving us off with a fantastic 2D episode of the first half of Season 7. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with in the back half. Let's have a bonus segment! Of course, my man DB Universe did a killer job storyboarding this episode, along with Christina, but man, you guys really need to go and sub to my man DB Universe, because the way he storyboards these episodes, the level of detail and care he takes into making it feel authentic to the worlds that these characters are in, coming together, it's just so amazing. Plus, I think next to Obi-Wan vs. Kakashi and Static vs. Miles, this may be my favorite storyboard he's ever done. So, really, great props to you, man. I'm just so happy that you got to kill it this season, and I can't wait to see what you got for us in the back half. Okay, the track. If you've noticed, because of course how could you not, the track has been playing all throughout this video, and I really gotta say, this is probably the first time I was right. While I didn't full out appreciate and love the track for Kakashi vs. Kenobi, because it wasn't that catchy outside of it being a great orchestral listen, this theme, on the other hand, it perfectly combines the styles of both Danny and Jake Long, almost as if the composers themselves got together and put together this fantastic track. It has everything from the shows, except for the lyrics, which normally, unfortunately, I would have docked a point off of, but because it was so catchy, much like KO Computer, I really have no problem with its lack of lyrics, and it's probably my second favorite track, or third favorite track, of Season 7. So, everybody give a huge round of applause to Brandon Yates for putting out another slap as a track. The research was actually pretty good, if not, well, kind of what you expected it to be. There were moments where I wish they would have gone on and expanded upon both Danny and Jake's skill sets, but because they have to get these out on a every 2-week basis, it really doesn't mean that much. It really doesn't matter to me. That's just my little nitpick. In conclusion, guys, this was my favorite 2D episode of Season 7. I know I sound like a broken record every time I say that, but that's how much I love this fight. It really brought back a sense of nostalgia for me. And speaking of nostalgia, Butch Hartman deserves a major shout out for throwing his endless love and support to Death Battle, to Ben and Chat, to everyone involved in this episode. And if you actually want to see what Butch Hartman's thoughts on this matchup are, then go to his YouTube channel. He actually did a collaboration with Ben and Chad, talking to them about how he was thankful to them for bringing Danny back into the spotlight. You guys will not regret it. So, thank you, Butch. But, wow. Just wow. I felt like a kid again. I won't lie. Maybe that is because of the investment I had in both shows, making this probably one of the episodes that deserves to hit 3 million. So, let's see if we can do that, guys. But, yes, everybody, that's about it. I can think of no reason to not give Danny versus Jake a full A+. Everything in it was perfect from beginning to end. The voice acting, the composing, the research, the animation, the storyboarding, all of it was just amazing. And I really, really love it.
Well, another editor's note. Rich forgot to put his reaction and thoughts on the next Death Battle. Luckily, he sent me the screenshot of it at least, so let's see what the hell it is. And we're getting Wonder Woman for the third time.
Sitting in between the middle of a demon and an angel, they're the best of friends, leading me to different ends. The choices that I'm facing right now destroy everything or simply myself. Yeah.